welcome to this video. My name is Estelle. If you've never seen my face before, that is completely okay. The only reason I'm showing it now is because I couldn't be bothered to find footage of what I'm going to be talking about and editing it all together. I am very lazy. Today we're going to be talking about Trollhunters Rise of the Titans and the Tales of Arcadia series, saga, trilogy by Netflix and DreamWorks, created by Guillermo del Toro, and basically just talking about the movie and what went on there and my personal opinions on it, because it was quite a bit. And if you like the series and have followed it for as long as I have, since like 2017, I'm pretty sure you have some opinions too. I've seen a lot of talk online about it. And before I jump in, I want to preface by saying that I love the Tales of Arcadia saga, series, franchise, whatever. I'm extremely grateful to everyone who's worked on it, the creators, the writers, the animators. It's such an amazing and special show or series of shows. The movie is what we're going to be talking about today, but then again, I love the series. This is in no way a video meant to bash or spread hate on the creators or anyone involved with it. I am super grateful to everyone who worked on it. This is basically just going over my thoughts on the conclusion of of the series. So let's get into it, because some choices were made. Let's talk about them. If you see me looking down at my laptop, I have notes. I have many notes. Just a warning, there will be spoilers, definitely for the Trollhunters Rise of the Titans movie, also for, I want to say, all of the series, so Trollhunters 3 Below, Wizards for sure. And if you haven't, I highly suggest watching the shows. They're amazing, they're incredible. Maybe skip the movie. But yeah, spoilers ahead. I will also be referencing a screening event that happened in LA this past Sunday, where they had a screening of the movie, which was amazing, and there was a Q&A with Guillermo and the writers, the Hageman brothers, Mark Guggenheim, Charlie Saxton, Lexi Medrano, and other people that were there. It was a great time. Really short interview. It wasn't open. We didn't get to ask any questions, but we all appreciated it nonetheless, and getting to see everything on the big screen was just so cool. So Trollhunters Rise of the Titans is the culmination of and conclusion of the Tales of Arcadia saga trilogy, which includes Trollhunters, 3 Below, and Wizards. Trollhunters started in 2016, it ended in like 2018, and then it was followed by 3 Below, Wizards. You know what I'm talking about. And before the movie was announced, on the release date of Wizards back in August 2020, it was kind of implied that Wizards would be the conclusion of everything, and then the movie was announced, and that was announced to be the conclusion of the saga. So I'm not sure when it was like decided that they were going to make a movie, but that's what happened, and that's why Wizards was so condensed. And it was actually confirmed in the Q&A. Guillermo was talking about it, and basically when he was pitching the show and pitching the final 2 series of 3 Below and Wizards, he suggested that they end everything with a movie. DreamWorks said no. And then they got to pre-production on Wizards, I think, and Guillermo was like, okay, we'll condense Wizards to 10 episodes, and we'll do the movie. Is that okay? And DreamWorks was like, sure, go ahead. So that's what we ended up getting. Which brings us to Rise of the Titans, and like I said, some choices were made. I really don't want this video to come across as me saying that the movie was terrible, or it ruined the series, or just like complaining about everything for however long this video is going to end up being. Again, I love the saga. The past 4 years have been such a learning experience and so fun getting to experience the series as it comes out. So while many viewers may not agree with what I'm going to be saying, or maybe you do agree, let's just remember to keep everything respectful. I'm a big believer of being critical of the media that we consume, even if we do enjoy it, even if we do have personal attachments to it. I think it's great to view everything from a critical lens. So yeah, just if you're going to interact in any way with these videos, please be kind, please be respectful to other people. We all have our own opinions. So that being said, I don't want to start this video or discussion in like a negative note, but I don't want to end it on a negative note either. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have like the negative and positive things that I found about the movie, but I'm going to split the positive things in half and put half of them in the front, sandwich the negative things in the middle, and then end with the positive stuff, like a little sandwich, So let's get started with some positives. Again, I'm looking at my laptop. I am so sorry if I'm looking down during the video. The whole train sequence at the beginning of the movie was fantastic. I thought it was a great opening. Of course, the opening narration was kind of shoot in there for people who haven't really seen the series and don't know what's going on. But the train sequence through Metro City was just great. Honestly, I kind of liked seeing Jim getting kicked on his ass every 30 seconds. It really kind of showed how vulnerable he is right now, and not just without the armor, but like emotionally vulnerable. He feels very like not powerful in any sense of the way, and I love Jim, but I think that's what he needed at the beginning. Just seeing everyone getting to work together, seeing Claire and how much she's progressed and like her magic and stuff, just badass. Dukesy, I think this is the most we really see him do in the movie. I wish we would have gotten more of Dukesy, but he was great in this scene. The animation was just phenomenal. You really just, in this scene, you get a great sense of just how big the scale of this movie is and how big the stakes are compared to the rest of the series. It's so great, and getting to see it, oh my god, getting to see it in theaters on the big screen, dude, it was just another experience. It was amazing, and I'll get to seeing it in theaters as it relates to like the other things that happen in the movie, because especially like when the Titans are like coming out of their little, oh dude, when the Titans rise on a full screen with the animation quality of a feature film budget, bro. And the animation quality of this movie is just insane. I've been watching Tales of Arcadia again since like 2017, so like the second season, I think, of Trollhunters, right when that came out, and getting to see the improvements made in the animation quality and rendering and rigging and lighting is just so cool to see. It's great to see how much they've progressed, and I really congratulate everyone who was involved in that stuff. The Titan designs were so freaking cool. Just so freaking cool. Nari's Titan was like definitely my favorite, and I actually saw this the second time I watched it. The little plant that she's holding during the train scene, when she like calls it to her while she's getting dragged up by Belrock, it turns into the Titan, like the little potted plant turns into the same shape as the Titan does later on in the film when we see her on the Titan. I just thought that was a really cool little tidbit. I forgot who said it in an interview, but someone said, one of the creators said that the Titans are basically their own environments, and getting to see it animated, you know, Nari's Earth Titan with like the waterfall and the vines and like the birds flying over it, so cool. So cool. They really are their own environments, and I thought that was amazing. The soft and emotional scenes were really, really nice. I loved them. I wish we had gotten more of them, especially the one Jim had with Barbara after Strickler died. Spoilers. And they were both kind of grieving. I kind of like that we never really got more information on Jim's biological dad. We basically just got Barbara saying that he ain't shit. He left, and you're your mother's son. And I was just like, oh my god, he's his mother's son. It was just really nice, their relationship. It's one of my favorite familial relationships in any media, and it's great to see that that kind of stayed the same throughout all of the series. I really love that. All of the scenes with Jim and Claire, they are precious. They deserve better. They deserve better, especially Claire. She deserves better. She's so awesome. And thoughts on that later, but all the scenes with like Jim and Claire, I kind of wish we got more as well. There are a lot of things that I wish we had more of in this movie. Eli's glow up. Can we just talk about Eli's glow up? I thought it was hilarious and cute. Made me sad that like Steve was just kind of like not there most of the, we'll get to that too, but Eli's glow up. It was growth spurt. I wish they had kept, like, the same nose for him. I think they, like, changed the nose shape when they redesigned his character for this movie, but I thought it was great. I like that he's, like, still, like, this dorky person. He's just glowed up, and he made the whole gun robot thing. He's still a little nerd, and it's great. Now I'm going to go into the less positive things. Again, my opinions. Not everyone is going to have the same opinions, and I know that, so let's just dive into it. Let's just go. So from the beginning of the movie, during the train scene, after like the train crashes and stuff, we see that like humans are introduced to like trolls and wizards, and they're all taking pictures and videos with their phones. No one really goes to help anyone out of the train, they just have their phones up. The entirety of both Trollhunters and Three Below are really self-aware in that they don't want people outside of like Arcadia to know about trolls or aliens or wizards. So I thought that it was going to go somewhere in the movie, like they were going to have this whole like everyone knows about magic and about aliens, and it's causing all of this turmoil, but and nothing happens. Nothing happens with that, and I am running out of space on this SD card. And we're back with a new SD card. So yeah, the whole, like, people seeing everything for the first time, everything that's, like, supernatural for the first time, and it kind of goes nowhere. I feel like they might have done something with that if they had more time, but alas. Pregnant Steve. I have thoughts about this topic, none of which are positive. I don't know what to say. Like, where the heck did that come from? First of all, I never really thought that, like, I thought Acaridians weren't organic. Like, I thought they have life cores, right? So, like, they don't reproduce in an organic way. I was really uncomfortable with the whole thing. I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't on board with it. It made me feel icky. I'm not gonna lie. Some people thought it was really funny in the theater when I was watching the screening. A lot of people laughed, so I guess that worked for some people. Some people thought it was funny, but I don't know. And just Steve's development in general. Poor Steve. Everything that he got in Three Below was kind of just I'm sad because in Wizards, like, they kind of reduced him to comedic relief, which he always kind of was, but at least in Three Below, like, he had some character development, and he had a relationship with Aja, and he kind of became a himbo in a sense instead of a bully, and then he just kind of became a joke in Wizards, and all of his, like, own emotional growth and stuff was kind of like sidelined for the other characters, and I was like, maybe they'll do him justice in the movie. Boy, was I wrong. Yeah, I don't know. It just poor Steve. Steve deserved better. I think also like the comedy, I didn't really laugh at much in this movie. It wasn't charmingly goofy in the way that the series were, especially Trollhunters. There were like a lot of just like small little gags that kind of ran through, or they were just funny. They were funny, and in this one, I think the only one that I actually laughed out loud for was Krell, and like when him and the Blanks break into the prison to like break everyone out, he says a "your mom" joke. I'm 22, and I laughed at a "your mom" joke in the year of our Lord and Savior 2021. What is that saying? Dukesy didn't really have much to do in the movie, and that makes me sad. Like, it feels like the only thing that was kind of relevant to the plot that he did was switch places with Nari and say Namura when she dies, and I guess like the whole sigil thing and like finding Nari, but I wish they had given him more things to do. The same sentiment can be said about a lot of other characters. I wish a lot of the characters had things to do other than just plot and let's go get this thing because plot, and let's bring up this topic because plot. One of my gripes with the film is just how everything is like plot based, and there's not much time for like smaller character moments that are just great in the series, and we didn't have much time for that, and I get that because there's obviously time constraints with a feature-length film runtime, and not everything can be addressed, but I just wish that these characters had a bit more time to be characters, you know, had time to be people. But I digress. Back to Dukesy. His arc in Wizards was him becoming a master wizard, and him becoming a leader in a sense, and teaching Claire and like leading everyone there, and what he doesn't do much in the movie, and that makes me sad. And then like they're trying to figure out how to power the amulet because it's not working after Jim tries to use it the first time, and they're like, we need a master wizard, we need Merlin's magic, and I'm just like, you have a whole Dukesy right there. He's a master wizard, he has a staff, he's a master. That was the point of Wizards. And they're like, we need Merlin's magic. And I'm just like, Dukesy. And then also, like, the sword came from Nimue, right? Like, Lady of the Lake, and she gave it to Dukesy. because Duxie was worthy, and like they had to save Merlin in that scene. So how would Merlin's magic be in the stone inside of Excalibur, which was created by Nimue, given to Duxie? I have questions, and I want answers, but I'm not gonna get them. I thought it was cool how like Krell made the amulet, and I wish there would have been like a scene with Duxie and maybe even Claire, because there needs to be two master wizards to create the amulet, right, to power the amulet. So maybe like Duxie and Claire powering the amulet together, and that is Claire's whole arc in the movie, because Claire didn't have an arc in the movie. But I don't know, I feel like they just could have done a lot more with Duxie in that sense. Maybe even thrown Zoe in. Zoe was like just like a one-time character in Three Below and Wizards, and like the fandom loves her because of all of the art that has been made about her, like fan art by some of the creators and artists on the show, and I feel like we should have seen her at least in the movie, but we didn't. Another thing that I would have loved to see. Strickler and Nomura's death. Well, there was some kind of emotional build-up to us losing Strickler. Can't say the same about Nomura. You can replace her with another character from like Zadra or something from another series, and it wouldn't really make much of a difference. I think what they were trying to go for with her death is just like, these Titans are ruthless. Nari is not, on our side anymore. The stakes are great, people are gonna die, but it just didn't feel... I didn't have an emotional reaction to that, or even to Strickler's death. It was kind of just the whole fact that it like didn't make a difference in the end, like the Ice Titan just kept going. Maybe him losing his wings in that situation would have been better. I don't know. We did get a nice little scene with Jim and Barbara grieving after that, but their deaths didn't really work for me. I know. The only death that really worked for me was Nari's, when she is fighting the Ice Titan and fighting Skrull. That was a great scene. That's okay. There's a little positive bit in this whole thing. Ice versus Earth Titan. Oh my gosh, amazing. The last scream that Nari does as she's like freezing up, gutting, so great. The voice actress for Nari is just amazing in the film. I thought it was incredible, and I thought the whole battle was great. The national park, just, that was a great send-off for Nari. I wish she had gotten more development as a character, because she kind of felt like a MacGuffin in the end, and I hate using the word MacGuffin because it's so overused, but like, you know. The Heartstone on Acaridian 5. I have questions, none of which were answered, but I have questions, like how, what? There's Heartstone on Acaridian 5? Like, there's no organic matter, right, on Acaridian 5, so that makes me question it. Is it, like, I don't know, I wish they had kind of brought in a bit more of the stuff from Three Below, like Seklos and Galen's core, and, because that was, like, left very open, right, in Three Below, other than to use it to, like, using the royal cores to, like, power the, I don't know, I forgot to watch. I didn't have time to rewatch Three Below before I watched the movie, but it would have been nice if, like, they had maybe mentioned, like, there was a piece of Heartstone that the trolls gave to Aja and Krell's parents when they brought Galen's core to Earth. Maybe. But how would there be Heartstone on Acaridian 5? I'm confused. The glaring lack of Nod Enrique and Noam Chomsky. I forgot who said it on Twitter. One of the creators was like, Nod Enrique was watching the Changeling babies, and I was like, okay, cool. Where's Chomsky? Where's my boy? Where's the gnome? Where is he? What happened to Chomsky? It may not be my place to say this, but the whole, like, Hong Kong troll market, while it was beautiful, it was so stunning to see. I love the music in that scene. The music in this movie is great. Music in the movie is great. But this scene, I don't know. I'm not Chinese American. There have been some Asian American friends of mine who have kind of voiced their opinions on the whole Hong Kong troll market thing and how it kind of felt a bit xenophobic. given the circumstances of our world right now and how they were made to seem as antagonists. And then I personally didn't like the whole line that Blinky had of like the troll dragons being ruthless and unforgiving and just all of these negative things directed at something that would then be revealed to be, you know, Chinese or Asian in general. It didn't feel great. I don't know. And like their ruler is a tyrant, and he basically like has everyone build the city to be beautiful, and he's like a tyrant ruler, and I don't know. It didn't, again, not my place to say because I am not Asian American, but my Asian American friends have, expressed that they weren't fond of that scene. It was visually stunning, but like the narrative behind it. The huge lack of these characters not interacting with each other kind of irked me. The only person we actually see talking, it's like Jim and someone else having a conversation, or two characters having a conversation about Jim and his choices. So I just wish we would have gotten more of that scene that we had in Flying Camelot where Krell is like making the amulet and Blinky's trying to read and he's like, can you turn down that music? And then everyone's just kind of doing their own thing. I would have loved to see more of that. Like, Claire and Aja didn't interact once in the film, or like in the series in general. I would have loved to see a Claire and Aja friendship, especially because they're the only two female characters in the main cast, other than Barbara, and she's a mom. Maybe we could have even seen Zoe. Like, again, I wish Zoe had been a part of it, or Zoe had been more of a character, and I think that kind of goes, as an extension of what happened with Wizards, and how I think she was meant to be a bigger character in that, but then they condensed Wizards, and then they moved on to the movie, so they didn't have time to develop Zoe's character. That would have been great because we would have gotten another female character, and she seems so interesting. I would have loved to learn more about the Hedge Wizards, or Hedge Witches. Hedge Witches, that's hard to say. The Creep Slayers weren't together in any meaningful way, and that made me sad because they were so much fun. I had so much fun watching Steve and Eli hijinks. I want to see more. I still want to see more. But Steve got pregnant, and he had babies, and Eli was there for that, and I did not enjoy the birth scene either. The only thing that made me laugh was, like, Eli being like, my virgin eyes, and that was funny. But everything else, no. Going back to, like, the whole Claire and Aja thing, I wish they would have interacted, at least once. At least had one conversation. I don't know, maybe it'd be about being the oldest sibling and having to protect your younger sibling, or I don't know, just any interaction. But I guess that's what you get when you have an entire directing, producing, writing team of men. Still disappointing to see. The pacing, it was very fast. Like, once the action starts in the movie, it just does not slow down. I've mentioned before, right, that I wish that they would have taken more time to just, like, have quiet moments between the characters, have some conversations, flesh out the characters a bit more, and their dynamics with each other. But this movie is definitely action-oriented, action-based. There's a lot of, we need to go find this thing, and we need to figure out how this thing's working, we need to get to this place, and we need Claire to portal us here. Like, I wish I would have, I understand why, but for the sake of story and character and development, I wish we would have just, like, slowed down for a little bit, take a little break, have them get tacos or something. I'm still waiting on my taco scene. I was, like, trying to figure out what the theme, I guess, of the film was, because maybe it's not so much with Trollhunters, but with Three Below, there was the whole, like, allegory of illegal immigration, right? And then in Wizards, it was kind of like passing the torch on to the younger generation. And I was trying to figure out what it was for the movie, and it kind of, like, with Toby saying at the very beginning that he thinks the Arcane Order is mad about humans, like, basically screwing up the world, and how humans threw everything off balance, and even the Arcane Order, I think Belrock was just like, humans took advantage. and they threw off the balance and of natural order of the world. So I thought it was going to be a commentary on climate change, because like, if we're going on that, Belrock's right. Maybe she got a point. Maybe they got a point, right? It's kind of eco-fascism, but kind of right. So I was trying to figure out if they were gonna like do something with that, and then have a whole speech in the third act of like why humanity is worth saving, why this planet is worth saving. And then it kind of goes nowhere, and there's no really overarching theme that kind of connects all of those points together. And again, maybe it was time constraints, but I really think that it should have been addressed again. Because if the whole point of the villain is to say how badly humans have messed up the planet, when a lot of people are concerned about how humans, corporations mostly, have messed up the planet, I would have liked to see the writer's interpretation on why humanity should be saved. Maybe the heroes got a point this time. Who knows? Also, just like the way the Fire Titan came out of the ocean, like 2-3 weeks after the ocean was literally on fire, that's, climate crisis is scary. I can't believe they predicted that, though. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Correct me if I'm wrong, but does Dukesy even mourn losing Archie? Does Dukesy mourn losing the friend that he's had for 900 years, losing his familiar? Because, right, like, Archie stays with his dad in Hong Kong Troll Market, and Dukesy never sees him again, and no one even tells Dukesy, like, Archie, we lost Archie. No one ever says that. And that, I don't know, they were so close, and it wasn't, we didn't even get to see him grieving his friend. Sad. Time travel. Let's talk about the ending. Time travel. Can I just say that I'm so tired of time travel as a cop-out, as a story, as a plot line, as a plot device, as anything. Let's put time travel in a box and put it on a shelf and leave it there for a couple years, because I just need a break, especially after Loki and like Endgame and like the things that have been related to time travel, the Umbrella Academy for like the last few years. Let's take the time travel away. Put it away for later once we know how to use it properly. I'm just so tired. Please give me something else. And with the whole ending, Jim's time loop. I don't know if it's a time loop. I don't know if their previous timeline is now erased. I know that they were going for like an open ending and the whole anyone can be a hero. I get it, but I don't think it was executed in the best way it could have been, if I may say so. Just let Jim be happy. Just let Jim be happy. Poor thing has been non-stop in anxiety fight or flight mode for how many years? This poor kid just needs a nap and a hug and some food. Let's have him take a bath. I'm sure he hasn't taken a bath in a while. I know it was like a shock value thing, probably. When they first started talking about the chronosphere, right, and time unfolds differently, I'm like, oh, they're gonna use it in like a way where he kind of goes back either to the beginning of the film, maybe, or the beginning of that battle, and he makes sure that everyone is like safe, and he maybe goes back and freezes time while the other him is still fighting Belrock up there, and he like pulls Toby out of the taco truck. I thought that was what was going to happen, and then the whole shock thing was just like going back to the beginning of the series, and that left a bitter taste in my mouth, because I immediately thought back to Unbecoming, and a lot of people have brought this up online, Unbecoming, and how things needed to happen the way that they did so that everyone survived up until that point in season 2 in Trollhunters. And I don't know, it just it felt like a cop-out. As soon as I finished watching the movie, I was like, they're leaving this open-ended so they can make something in the future, let's say a couple years down the line. That was my first immediate thought. They don't want to conclude things completely in a nice little box because they want to come back to it in the future. And I was kind of right, and I will get to that later. But again, Jim going back, it's just so, to me it seems so bleak. I think back to how depressed he was in Unbecoming when, like, he was the only one that knew anything of the future, and he's alone now, and he's the only one that knows what happens in, like, the first timeline. And now Toby, like, all of the things that Jim went through that he was struggling with so much now fall onto Toby, and that doesn't really seem in Jim's character, because everything that Jim kind of does is to protect his friends. And here he is, his last decision of the film is putting his friend in so much danger. I got questions. Also, the entirety of all of the series, Jim has faced things alone when he doesn't have to. He's Atlas holding the world on his shoulders when he doesn't have to be. And time again, we see him facing the consequences of that. He goes into the Darklands alone, and Gunmar escapes as a result because everyone has to go in and get him out. He isolates himself when he has to make that decision of whether or not he wants to become a troll, and he has to deal with the consequences of losing his humanity, I guess, in a physical sense, because he's still Jim. Jim is Jim. Jim is Jim. And all of that stuff, like, he makes the decision alone to, like, push the shard into his chest, and he deals with the consequences of that. And in my head, I always thought that, like, his whole arc was learning how to share the load, learning how to accept help from others, learning how to trust that his friends are going to be okay and being at peace with it if they're not. And then he goes back in time alone, where he's the only one who knows what happens. And even, like, Blinky said, like, it's a big burden to bear or something at the end when he's making the decision to go back. And I didn't like Jim's character in this movie, I'll be honest. It was like watching Hunter Jim as the main character and not like Jim, you know? Yeah, just some choices, man. He's alone and he doesn't have to be alone, and yet he goes back alone, and a repeating thing is like, we're stronger together, it's Trollhunters, plural, and then he goes back by himself. Yeah, and the goodbye scene between him and Claire. I don't think that Jim should have gone back in time. I personally think that I feel like Claire got really just, like, screwed over, because the entirety of Wizards and this movie, she's, like, always trying to save Jim, right? Especially in Wizards. Like, her whole thing is, like, wanting to protect him, feeling guilty that she wasn't able to save him from the Green Knight, all of that stuff. And she's been so loyal to everyone. Jim specifically, she's always there to support him. He's down on his luck the entire movie, and she's there to kind of be like, you're human and you're enough. You are enough for us, and we're going to be able to do this together, because we've always done that. We always look out for each other. And then at the end, for her to just be left, I don't know. I think everyone deserved happy endings, and no one got a happy ending. And that is kind of my problem with, you know, the whole time travel loop thing, chronosphere cop-out. I feel bad saying that, but, like, no one gets their happy ending. There's no real conclusion, again, because they wanted to leave it open-ended. We'll get to why later, but it didn't, for something to be the conclusion of a 3-series saga ending with the film, you would think that they would kind of want to tie everything together, but they don't. Nothing is resolved. And I think that was what my biggest problem personally with the film was, is that it just didn't feel like anything mattered at all during the entirety of the series, because at the end it's just kind of wiped clean. All of the character growth that all of these characters, all of the growth that they had, it was kind of erased. Not kind of, it was erased, because we're starting the timeline over again, and Toby's gonna be Trollhunter, and I have no issue with Toby being Trollhunter. It'd be hilarious to see, it'd be fun. I don't know, maybe there's a good story there. But at the sake of kind of just eradicating all of the development that these characters have had so far. And that is what kind of leaves a bitter taste in my mouth, is that it kind of, maybe it's me being pessimistic or whatever, but it just, nothing really mattered in the end, because they're kind of doomed to do it over and over and over again until Jim gets it right, and Jim has to remember all of those things. And to me, it just kind of seems depressing. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. So I don't necessarily think the film was bad. I think it was okay. I just would have liked to see other things, have some more character moments, have some more character development in the movie. But we'll go back to the positive stuff. I think that's all of the negative stuff that I had in my system, and I'm starting to get tired of the negativity. So let's move forward to the positive stuff again. Yay, we're back. The Fire Titan and gun robot like kaiju battle thing. Oh, so cool. I love Pacific Rim. So getting to see like a callback to that, it was just so cool. Getting to see Toby and Jim just kind of be like, oh my god, that's gun robot! Ah! And that was great. I loved it. Varvatos is always a really fun time. I thought it was hilarious that Eli built a whole gun robot in the middle of a planetary crisis. That's great. I love it. The amulet scene of like Jim calling the amulet to him and being like, for the good of all, daylight is mine in command, and the whole fight scene with Belrock, that was great. That was a great action scene. That was it for me. I wish it had ended on that good note. I don't know if I would have wanted Toby to die or not, but just like that, if it would have just ended it with that great action fight, whatever, that would have been great. I would have loved it. Jim's admitting that he didn't need the amulet to be a hero was great, though I do have to think back, right, again to Unbecoming, where he kind of overcame those self-doubt, or overcame that self-doubt. Again, it was kind of like, where was the previous development that we have? I digress. But going back to that scene, the callback with like the music and all of that stuff to that one episode in season 1, where he calls the amulet to him when Strickler has it, and the music was the same, and it was great. And then I love the armor design for the new armor, and just that scene with him fighting. I can't say anything else. It was amazing. It was great. I actually like this version of Aja, and I know that's controversial because a lot of people didn't like Aja in the movie, but I think it's nice to see. I don't know. It's great to see her being so unapologetically badass, and she knows it. Like, she knows it, and she's had to be on Acaridian 5. Like, this is how I think of it. She's been on Acaridian 5 kind of rebuilding after a coup, right? So she's had to do it alone. She didn't have Krell there with her, so she's probably become a lot more sure of herself as a leader after all of her development in 3 Below, which is great. And she's been a leader. She's been able to make hard decisions in my head. I don't know. But seeing her come and being like, okay, like, this isn't working. I have a backup plan. And if this doesn't work out, we're doing that, because I know that will work, because that will save humanity from this planet. I don't know. She was being logical, and a lot of people didn't like that she was being so, like, I guess, I didn't see it as rude. I don't know. But I thought, I liked her character in this one. I'm just gonna say it. I liked it. The voice acting in this was amazing. Everyone brought their A game. Like I said, I think before, like with Nari, I don't know why I loved her performance so much, but I did. It was amazing. The music, the score for this movie, so good. It was amazing. I haven't had time to listen to everything that's been put on Spotify yet, but I will be, because I loved everything in this movie. Wizards too. Wizards had a really good soundtrack, I think. I wish I had more positive things to say, but I think that pretty much sums up my thoughts on the movie, both positive and negative. This is going to be such a long video, oh my gosh. It kind of makes me sad that a franchise that so many people loved and enjoyed and got so invested in turned out this way. It truly does make me sad. I owe this show a lot. I've met some amazing, incredible people online because of this show, because of our mutual interest in this show. Trollhunters is the show that got me excited and kind of made me decide to go into a career in writing for film, TV, animation. And it's just, that's why I think that's why that's so difficult to be at peace with this film and the way it ended. Again, I understand that some people liked it, and that's fine. You're entitled to your own opinions, as I am to mine. And going back to how I said how they left everything open-ended, it was for a reason. At the Q&A, Guillermo kind of revealed that he's just pitched an idea to DreamWorks, which would be 2 short films a year for the next 4 years, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be related to this. Don't quote me on this. I'll put an audio recording that I got from the interview at the Q&A.
Now, we don't know if this is going to succeed or not, in the sense of, I just pitched a crazy idea to DreamWorks, which is to generate 2 shorts a year for the next 4 years, in which we continue capping these things and have fun. But I don't know if this is going to happen or not, but we wanted to have a choice that, look, at the end of the series, I know that there's a thing we decided on the title earlier, and we said it's Trollhunters, plural. Claire, Jim, and Toby are the 3 guys that are worthy of becoming Trollhunters.
So yeah, I was kind of right. They did leave it open-ended so they could come back to it. They're just coming back to it a lot more quickly than I thought they would be. I also have a link to kind of summarize everything that happened at the Q&A. I'll link it below. But yeah, so we didn't get a conclusive ending where everyone gets the ending they deserve, or a happy ending. I would have loved to see these characters get a happy ending. I really would. But maybe, hopefully, the idea for the shorts goes through, because, again, I said he just pitched it. Nothing has been confirmed yet. DreamWorks hasn't greenlit it yet. It's still up in the air, essentially. But I hope that it does happen, so we can at least get, like, some nice conclusions for these characters. Maybe an epilogue. Who knows? I also, if these shorts weren't happening, if this was the actual conclusion, I kind of wish that we had gotten more seasons of Wizards. I really do. I think, personally, that for the characters, to develop them and everything, a TV format worked really, really well, because we got to spend time with these characters. And in Wizards, that was kind of, again, I said that they condensed it into 10 episodes so they could have time to go into pre-production for the movie and start on that. But I really wish that they had just done more of Wizards and maybe had like a whole season, maybe 13 episodes in Camelot, and ending it like the way that we saw at the end of Wizards. And then season 2 was all about the Arcane Order and the Genesis Seals and what their plan for the Earth is, and maybe delve into some more stuff, the lore between Seklos and Galen, the Acaridians and the Trolls. There's just so much stuff that I would have wanted to see that wasn't addressed in the movie. I wish we would have had more time with these characters, and I guess we're gonna get more time with the characters, but it's going to be probably, and from my personal theories, it's gonna be Toby as Trollhunter, or maybe them doing multiple timelines of maybe Claire is gonna be Trollhunter. I don't know. Who knows? We don't know what we're gonna get. We don't even know if we're gonna get it. So if this truly is the end, I am sad. Bittersweet, kind of sad, but mostly bitter, if I'm honest. I want to give a huge thank you to everyone who was involved in the saga. I doubt anyone is actually watching this video, but even if they're not watching, I just want to say thank you for something that is so rare and so full of passion and heart. And yeah, thank you for Tales of Arcadia. Thank you for these characters. Thank you for the journey that you've taken us all on, and I hope we get to see more. And I'll leave you all with some words that Aaron Waltke, a writer and one of the showrunners on Trollhunters 3 Below Wizards, posted on his Twitter after the movie was released. As of now, the Tales of Arcadia have been told, but they'll always be there for the retelling. I hope you revisit them from time to time, share them. Who knows what the future holds? But the friendships forged and creativity that blossomed in the TOA fandom have been truly awe-inspiring. It's my sincere wish that you all keep telling your own tales with Jim, Toby, Claire, Dukesy, and the Terrans. They will be waiting for you. He also said that all headcanons are canon now, so do with that what you will. Thank you everyone for watching. I don't know if I will ever make a video like this ever again. I just really felt like I needed to get some stuff off my chest, and my voice is very tired now. I've been talking for like an hour, so yeah, thanks for watching!